Hey everyone, I hope that all is well with you. I want to make sure that you guys are staying safe and that everyone is indoors. My name is Omari Augustine and I am a drummer. I have been playing drums since the age of 3 years old. So I also teach drums at 2 schools here in Trinidad and Tobago, Angelic Sounds Music Center as well as Curtis Jordan's Coaching Academy. I'm also an interactive media developer, so I do a lot of media work with the University of Trinidad and Tobago. So I do a lot of lesson videos and stuff like that to help people learn drums online. So today we are going to cover a few topics. I'm not sure if any of you guys were interested in learning to play the drums, but today we're just going to touch into a little bit of the basics. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'll be kind of checking in on the comments if you have any questions and so on. So just give me a few seconds while I just make sure that I can check on the comments as you guys have them. So just a quick question, how many of you guys always wanted to learn how to play the drums but just didn't have the opportunity to? You can leave a like, just leave a comment. And if you have any questions, be sure to let me know so I can answer them as soon as possible. All right. Okay, so one of the biggest misconceptions about playing the drums or learning how to play drums is that it's extremely complicated and only certain people can do it. A lot of people are usually intimidated by the amount of things that you see going on when a drummer is playing, but a lot of those complicated looking things can be broken down into some very, very simple exercises or simple patterns that you can use on a everyday basis. Now, in front of me, you will be seeing a drum as well as what we call a practice pad. Now, I know you may not own one of these and the objective is to teach you how to play without any of this. But I'm just going to kind of show you a few things using this, as well as, even if you don't own drumsticks, different ways that you will be able to practice and follow along. Alright, so first things first, simple thing we're going to do is counting exercise. I assume that everyone logged in knows how to count up to 4. Simply 1, 2, 3, and 4. So taking this into consideration, one of the first things you're going to learn is basic rudiments on the drum set. A rudiment is simply just an exercise to help you develop certain things, especially limb coordination or limb separation as well. That's simply being able to play one thing with one hand while playing something else with your other hand. And eventually we'll add other limbs into that. So I'll just move this aside for now. And we're going to start simply with our hands. Now, you might need your both hands to do this, so you may want to set your phone up in a way that you can watch at the same time while trying it, because I would like you guys to follow along with me and make it as interactive as possible. So, first thing you're going to do, you're going to take your right hand, and on the first count, you're going to play our right hand on our right thigh. Simply 1, then we're going to take the left hand, and for 2, we're going to play that on our left thigh. 2. We're going to repeat the same thing for 3 and 4. Right hand, 3, left hand, 4. So if we put it all together, we're going to get 1, right hand, 2, left hand, 3, right hand, 4, left hand. Simple enough to follow along. I think that should be fairly simple for everyone to be able to do, right? So we're going to take that same pattern and we're just going to repeat it over and over. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Again, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Pretty simple exercise. Now, this actually is the first rudiment that you would learn. As I mentioned before, a rudiment is simply an exercise. This exercise is called the single stroke rule. Single stroke rule simply means that with each hand, we play a single stroke or a single hit. That's why we're playing once on the right hand, once on the left hand, and then repeating. Now, you would see this in a varied amounts of speeds and tempos when you see a drummer playing. So I'm just going to demonstrate it for you right here on the practice pad, so you can see how it looks slow, and then we will build speed on it. So this is an exercise that every drummer practices or should practice, simply because it may seem very simple, but it's one of the most effective things to learn as a drummer. So we'll start, and I will increase the speed as time goes on, right? So we start in right, left, 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 right. Alright, now that's with drumsticks. So you're probably thinking, okay, what about if I don't have drumsticks? Simple exercise again, do it on our feet. Sitting position, just as if you were sitting on a drum set. And basically sitting on a drum set feels just like sitting on any regular chair, but usually have your feet like about 30 to 40 degrees apart. So we're sitting, and we're going to do the same thing. Single stroke roll, starting slow, and then speeding up. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Alright, so that's how you practice it if you don't have a drum in front of you, or if you don't have sticks. It's the same format. You're just using your hands to play the notes. Now, when it transfers across to the drum set, it applies the same way. If you have sticks in your hand, if you don't have drumsticks, that's fine. It's just to get familiar with the movement or the pattern itself. So the second pattern we're going to look at is what we call the double stroke roll. And if you think about the single stroke roll is one hit with every hand. So the double stroke roll would be 2 hits with every hand. So if you were to start with your right hand, it would be right, right, then left, left, right, right, 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 left, left. A little bit faster. Right, so that is the double stroke rule. Now, in all there are 40 like basic standard rudiments, 40 standard rudiments, and then there are 250, I believe, what we call hybrid rudiments. Now these numbers sound like a lot of things to try to memorize and to practice. However, it's not to intimidate you. Actually, it's pretty simple, simply because most of the rudiments are combination of some of the simpler rudiments or the standard rudiments. So what you can practice doing is taking some of the simple ones like the single stroke rule and the double stroke rule, and then we come up with combinations of those to create new patterns or rudiments. So for example, what we're going to do is we're going to take what we call the paradiddle into consideration, right? Or we're going to talk about the paradiddle for a little bit. The paradiddle is simply a combination of the single stroke rule and the double stroke rule. And actually right here, if you look at my sheet, I'm not sure if you get it, yes. Right? So you'll see where R is for right hand, L is for your left hand. This here is the single paradiddle, or what we refer to as the paradiddle. So if you look at the pattern, it starts off with right, left, which is single stroke rule, right, left, as we did before. And then it's followed by right, right, which is part of the double stroke rule, right, right. And then what happens is the pattern inverts or switches around and starts with the left, right, which is single stroke again, left, right, followed by a double stroke on the left hand, left, 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 left. So if you were to follow this pattern, we'll end up with right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Paradiddle again, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. So those are just to show you how taking two simple rudiments and combining them, we can create a whole bunch of different rudiments or exercises that we can practice or work on. Alright? So another thing that you would need to develop as a drummer is coordination, general coordination. I know if you are right-handed, that means most likely you will write or do the majority of tasks with your right hand. For example, writing, brushing your hair, eating, and things like that. So usually your weaker hand or your less dominant hand would not be as good or as fast or as coordinated as the hand that you use most of the time. Now, an exercise that will help you to develop your weaker hand is by simply assigning certain tasks to your weaker hand. Or also, we also do a little bit of hand-eye coordination exercises to kind of get the hand doing things that you won't regularly do. So, I do apologize, they are doing some work next door. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a simple item. In my case, I have a drumstick. Now, if you don't have one, that's fine. You can take a simple ball or anything that you have, a key or something that you can hold in your hand, and we're simply going to take the object and throw it up with our main hand and catch the item. So if you're right-handed, we start with the right hand. Simply take the drumstick or whatever you may have in your hand, throw it and catch it. Very simple, very easy to do, especially with the hand that you use all the time. Now, we're going to take the same exercise and do it with our weaker hand, which in my case would be my right hand. If you're left-handed, then your weaker hand will generally be your right hand. Right, so we're going to try it with our weaker hand now. Same exercise, throw and catch, throw and catch, throw and catch, throw and catch, throw and catch. Now, as simple as this exercise may seem, it will greatly help you to develop your weaker hand. Simply because when you assign tasks that aren't usually assigned to that hand, the hand gets accustomed to certain motions or movement that it would not usually be used to. And this helps to extend the range and help develop the speed and the endurance of your weaker hand. So, any questions so far be sure to let me know. I hope that everyone is following along. I'm not seeing any comments as yet. So hopefully that means that it's simple enough for you guys to, follow along with me. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of play on the pad again, and I'm going to just show how different combinations of the same single stroke roll and double stroke roll can work together. Alright, now usually we play or we will practice along to what we call a metronome, which is simply an app or device that gives us a noise that will help us stay in time. Now if you don't have a metronome app or an actual metronome device, easy way to practice along to a metronome to keep a consistent timing is to just play along or practice along to a song that you like. Now most songs are recorded according to a set tempo or speed, so that will help you to work on the timing as well. So I'll just be playing simple single stroke roll, and then I'll switch to double stroke roll and switch back in between. And then what I will do is also add in the paradiddle. So hopefully you guys can follow along, and I hope that this will encourage you guys to get learning on the drums. Alright, so we're going to start single stroke roll first, starting with the right hand. Alright, double stroke, left, right, 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 right. So I'll just speed it up a little bit so that I can play a little more different things in between, and see if you can see or guess which rudiment I'm playing, either the single stroke roll or the double stroke roll. So leave a comment if when I'm playing the single stroke roll, or leave a comment and say whether I'm playing the double stroke roll. Alright, so you're gonna go. It's gonna be a little bit faster, but I think you guys will be able to follow along. So here it goes. Was that easy enough for you guys to follow along? Did you guess it correctly? Single stroke roll, double stroke roll, single stroke roll again, double stroke roll, and then I kind of did a little bit of a combination moving around. Alright, so I'm going to do it a little bit faster. So, and this is just to demonstrate the fact that a lot of the crazy or things that you see a lot of drummers doing, and it looks extremely complicated, are just combinations of these two things as well as a lot of other rudiments that we were talking about. But hopefully it shouldn't discourage you when you see somebody do something that you think might be impossible, but more encourage you to figure out what it is they were doing. Alright, so a little bit faster, and then what I'll do is I will play it probably along to a song so you can hear in context how these things work. Alright. So I'll just throw this one in as a bonus because a lot of people ask me about this. At the beginning, I was talking about different exercises to help build the coordination, and we were talking about throwing up sticks and things like that. So that's another thing that we do sometimes in our drum classes to help students build coordination, hand-eye coordination, as well as limb independence. Limb independence simply meaning the ability to do different tasks with different hands. All right, so what that is usually sometimes when I'm playing, you'll see me flip the stick like this. Now, stick tricks are really cool and they look really awesome, but sometimes they are also functional. We do them for certain reasons. Sometimes I do it because sometimes I want to switch from the front of the stick that we usually play with over to the back of the stick, because the back of the stick is usually a little bit heavier and you can get a little more volume. So sometimes I like to switch in between, and I use a simple stick trick of the half turn to do that. And this is where the same exercise that we did with throwing up the sticks comes into play. You get used to your weaker hand especially doing that, so that it gets familiar with the same task that the right hand does, or your stronger hand does. So right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. So switching roles like that can help you develop your weaker hand and get it up to speed with the hand that you usually use. And you can use general everyday tasks. For example, if you can pick one specific task to do just to get your mind, in the habit of doing it. So for example, if you're usually drinking tea or drinking something or juice or water, and you usually pick up the cup with your right hand, try to make a conscious effort to do that task with your left hand. Or if you're left-handed, vice versa, right? Picking up the cup, drinking, using your weaker hand. It'll take a little getting used to, but before you know it, you'll be just as comfortable doing it with your weaker hand as you are with your right hand, or with your stronger hand. All right? Hey, MD, what's up? Jainal, hope you guys are enjoying the lesson so far. If there's anything that you don't understand or would like me to repeat, just let me know, and I'll be happy to explain it in a little more detail. All right? So let me just see if I can get music up and running for you guys. So just give me 1 second. Right, so in the meantime, you guys can let me know where in the world you are watching this from. I'm not sure, some of my students, I told them that we will be live, so some of them may join us. If you guys have any questions, even if I may not see them to answer, some of my students may be able to answer as well. So if you are one of my in-class students, or we don't have class going on right now because of the situation, but if you are online students as well, be sure to let me know where you are tuning in from. Hey, now, excuse me if I pronounce the names incorrectly, but I'll do my best. So, is it Drishti? Yeah, Drishti. Thanks. I'm glad that you're enjoying it so far and that you are able to follow along. So I'm just going to play a song by a good friend of mine named Joshua Moreno, and I'll be playing the single stroke roll, double stroke roll, as well as the paradiddle, and then I will add in some of the stick tricks that I was talking about, throwing up the sticks, so that you can see how a combination of these 3 or 4 things can make something look really cool on the drum set, or make it look a lot more complicated than it actually might be. Right, so the name of this song is You Got Me by Joshua Moreno. Let me know if you guys can hear. All right. So that was just an example of how these different combinations of the single stroke roll, the double stroke roll, and I even added in some paradiddles in between there, as well as some stick tricks and stuff like that, some flips. As you can see, I was changing which side of the stick I was playing with. All these different combinations of things can be learned even without a drum set. And that's a lot of these patterns are what you see drummers playing on the drum set while playing on a show or a gig, or even just practicing, right? Now, those were just the hands. Then we have other exercises that incorporate your feet as well. So hopefully maybe in another lesson, in another future time, we can start to add in some simple exercises to work on four-way or four-limb combinations, hands and feet. Simply because as a drummer, you will need to use all of them. And as we get into some more lessons, hopefully this can encourage you guys to want to learn the drums if you never thought about it before, or if you didn't know how to practice now that you know everyone is inside and you don't have a drum set, or even if you have a drum set but you can't use it simply because you might have neighbors that you can't really make that much noise. Practicing on your feet, even if you have sticks, is a great way of working on those exercises when you don't have a drum set. So anyone can learn to play drums. Everyone can learn to play drums. It's not an instrument that is impossible. I know some people say, I may not have the coordination or the timing. Those are things that you can actually learn just like any other instrument. So once you practice these exercises as much as possible, you will in time be able to jump on a drum set and execute these same things that you would learn here today, that you have learned here today on an actual drum kit. So if you have any questions, I would like to know if anybody here wanted to learn the drum set or never had the chance to. If you guys are interested in learning more, you can find me on any social media at OJAUGUSTINE. I'll probably leave it in the comments below so you guys can follow along. As well as we usually put stuff on Patreon, but seeing that we have this situation going on, I'm trying to make access to all those files and lessons available for free. So even if you go across on my Patreon page, you don't have to pay. You just go across to the posts and you will see a bunch of different exercises that you can work on, as well as single stroke roll, double stroke roll, and some of the stick tricks or stick flip exercises as well. In future lessons, we will talk about notation and reading music for drums. A lot of people don't know that we actually have sheet music for the drum set. So little things like this we will go into eventually. So hopefully this has piqued your interest a little bit in drumming and given you something to do while indoors. So if there are no more questions, I think that should be the end of our session for today. Thanks to Flat and Flatmates India for having me, and I hope that you guys really take this time to, you know, learn something new, to stay positive. So hopefully until next time, I hope that you have some happy new drumming adventures to share. So until next time, stay positive, guys.